nice. Oh. Best host ever. Yes! Let's do it. All right. Hosting. Keep on host. Where am I? Okay. American Advertising Awards. Here. Huh. No!
Welcome back to the show. Now it's time for our chef to take us through the most important step of the recipe.
You're gonna want to let the mixture of vinaigrette and pickle juice simmer for 2 hours and just let it get to know each other, all the ingredients. Hello? I'm hosting the American Advertising Awards. Should be fun. Me choose. Shoot him? Shoot him. Shoot him. Hey, fellas, let's talk about this. I can get you what you want, right? What do you think about awards? I can get you an award. I can get you Judge's Choice. I can get you Best in Show. I made it. Wait a minute. Something's off. Huh.
Hey, you. Yeah, you're on in 5.
Oh, come on. What, am I dead? Where am I?
We would like to welcome you to the 2021 American Advertising Awards. From beautiful Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I'm CJ.
Brought to you by Creative Edge Productions.
It's your host.
Insight Creative. And the American Advertising Federation. Of the Fox Valley. And now, our host, CJ Guzan.
It's your host, CJ Guzan. We did that part. Okay. Well, sorry I'm late, everybody. Just a little bit. Had a bit of an adventure. So, we have one heck of an amazing show for you tonight. A lot of amazing awards to go away to some equally amazing and wonderful projects. But you can't have an award show without judges. So let's go meet them now. Today we want to make sure that everyone gets a good personal picture of who the judges are that make this competition happen. And today I'm going to sit down with each of them, ask them some questions, and we're going to learn a whole bunch of information. So, let's get started. We are now joined by Evilise, one of the judges for the competition. And Evilise, I want to start out by asking you the question, tell us about your field of expertise and a little background about where you work.
Sure. So I lead Bombilla, which is a branding and design agency for social change. We're based in Oakland, California, and it's an extension of my career in corporate social responsibility and using the power of public relations, marketing, and design to spark change. And so we're trying to reimagine the creative agency model, and we're also using our creative skills to support systems changing organizations.
Excellent. Evilise, the next question is, what is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
This is my first time being a judge, and I'm honored and humbled, to be honest, that people care about my opinion. And I am thankful for the invitation. So thank you, American Advertising Awards and the Federation.
So, Evilise, 2020 was an insane year, and we wanted to ask, what was something crazy that happened to you in 2020? It can be in anything, but what happened?
Well, CJ, I mean, when you ask that question, I can't help but think of September 9, 2020, when California was orange. It definitely felt like the peak of the apocalypse. But I would say, between a global pandemic, racial tensions, political crises, I mean, it's a blessing to have survived it all. And so I'm hopeful, with the start of a new year, but I'm definitely, it's a lot of a lot of thrill seeking, I would say, in some regard, not by choice necessarily. And I think one thing I am proud of walking out of 2020 is having weathered it as a small business owner and still being able to hire employees. So there's silver linings, which is why I like to say you have to stay apocalyptic yet radically optimistic during these times.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. And also, that is something to be proud of, to have weathered that storm and come out on the other side, I assume, even stronger. Am I right? Thank you, Evilise, for answering all of our questions. And we are going to be back with you later on to talk about your judge's choice. We are here with one of the judges for the competition, Clark, and we want to learn a little bit more about Clark. So let's start out with Clark. Clark, tell us about your field of expertise and a little background about where you work.
All right. I am the Executive Creative Director at FMS in Nashville, or just outside of Nashville. We're essentially a branding agency that focuses particularly in the financial sector. We do a lot of work with community and regional banks all over the country. So as a result, I spend most of my time building brands, and I've learned a lot about it, gotten a lot better at it over the years. But the basic function of our agency is to help financial institutions become better brands instead of just pushers of product. So that's kind of what we do.
So Clark, we'll just have that as the regular way that it happens. Please edit some of this stuff in. This is where the good stuff actually comes out, Clark. It's when I start to mess up profusely.
It's the meat on the bone.
Okay. It is. It really is. The bones, you see, everyone wants the bones, but they've never tried the meat. Okay. So, what is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
I've been a judge a handful of times. I've been involved in clubs. When I was first starting out in this business, my first year, I won about 3 Addies, local Addies, and I thought that for me, that was like winning a Grammy. It was at the time one of the greatest moments of my life, so I've always sort of been in love with it because of that.
So you've been on both ends of the spectrum here.
I have, and enjoyed both of them, but especially when I was starting out, like the Addies were one of those things that, man, if I could get an Addie, if I could do that, then my work is at the level of my peers. I'm doing something that's that matters not just for business, but for the people whose opinion I respect. And that was really a big deal for me early in my career, and still is, frankly.
And obviously it stuck with you, right?
Indeed. Enough that now I judge a few.
So Clark, what was the craziest thing that happened to you in 2020?
So I have a son who has pretty significant special needs. And because we were quarantined, needless to say, we're not going out a lot. One of the few things in the world he'll eat is Chick-fil-A fries. So we have been to the same drive-through in the same Chick-fil-A at about the same time, probably 200 times since March. No joke. So
Wow.
now I'm on a first name basis with the drive-through folks and the people bringing our fries, and they all know my son. And so little did I know I would gain a second family at a random Chick-fil-A because of the quarantine.
Right? I was just about to say, the relationships we make that we value the most are often the least expected.
I never saw it coming.
Well said. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's really cool. Clark, it was wonderful to take some time to actually get to know you a little bit better, and we are going to be hearing about your judge's choice later on in the show. I am here with one of our judges in the competition, Yash, and I'm going to ask him a couple of questions about himself. Let's get to know Yash. Let's get beneath the, epidermal layer. I don't know that word. We'll get beneath the surface. We're going to learn about you. Yash, just answer the questions as I ask them, and this will all, this will move.
That was a wild journey of an introduction.
This entire hosting experience for me has been one heck of a unexpected journey, and if I had eagles or something to help me, Gandalf, I don't know. Let's move on. Tell us a little bit about where you work. What's your expertise? What do you want us to know about you?
Well, getting to know me, man, it's been a 37-year journey for me. But the work me works at Push Button Creative Audio. It's a company that my business partner and I started 15 years ago. I was still in college. It was my senior year of college, and so Push Button Creative Audio works with regional, national, and some local brands to develop audio on any scale. So it started out specifically with radio advertising, and then a couple of years later, we got into music development for brands, and then a few years after that, we got into podcast development. But it's all a branding focus. So it's it's not like Joe Blow's podcast, but we work with brands and we take them from basically not knowing what they want to do in a audio branding sense, and we sort of usher them into really great branded audio.
You're the foremost expert on you, so thank you for giving us that. All right, so...
It'd be weird if I wasn't.
It would be, wouldn't it? It'd be rather odd. Yash. I don't need to keep saying your name. I've already been yelled at that.
No, but keep it. I like it.
Okay, Yash. What is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
Oh my God. So I have done everything on earth for the AAF. I was involved as a student, and then I was president of the Orlando Federation in 2012. And then I was governor of the 4th District a few years after that. And then I just wrapped up my term as chairman of the National Federation 6 months ago. And so now I'm the immediate past chairman of the National Federation Council of Governors. And I have been involved in, I've probably run 8 or 10 Addy shows at this point. I have been judge at over 25 shows. I'm still really involved with, helping students out. I run the District 4 Gala, which I don't know if you guys at District 8 have a big gala, but we have a huge gala in District 4. So yeah, and it's been a journey. Now, why don't you share something?
So all right, so I was waiting for this all day, so let me talk about myself for a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not going to. We're going to skip over to the last question for the personal bio. I know, right? I know. Later on.
I wanted beard care tips from you.
I know. You just blow on your thumb and it goes, just shows up. All right, so let's do, try it. I mean, give it a shot.
I did once. It didn't come out this way.
It didn't come out this way. My eyebrows were basically, I had to comb them. All right, so.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what happened.
So 2020 was an insane year. Absolutely crazy.
Was it?
I would think so.
Awesome.
In a number of ways. But in your opinion, in your life, what was the craziest thing that happened to you in 2020?
Well, there's a few things. Well, obviously I was locked in my place for 3 months. I live in a high rise, and so that wasn't really fun because although I was locked in my place, it was like being in an institution where, one person in the elevator at a time. That wasn't a lot of fun. There was all the building stuff was shut down. That wasn't great. But I'll tell you, like, I travel a lot. Travel is like the thing that I enjoy doing the most. And we had planned a trip to go back to the motherland, which for us is Morocco, my family. And so we had a couple of folks who came out of Morocco still around. They were 2 generations back, but they're still kicking. And so we had convinced them finally to go back after like a 20-year odyssey in the family of like, please, let's go back, like show us stuff. And we convinced them to go back, and our trip was planned for March 14th. And the lockdown started March 15th, which was just the worst. That was my own personal torture because I've been wanting to do that trip for a long time. But I mean, honestly, how bad was it for me? Not as bad as it was for a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. I can't complain. It's been, thank goodness, praise be, it's been okay. Mm-hmm. Just really boring.
Thank you very much, Yash, for sharing all of your insights and opinions. We welcome them and we appreciate them. And now, back to the show. For those of you that may be new to these awards, the American Advertising Awards is one of the industry's largest creative competitions and attracts nearly 35,000 professional and student entries each year throughout local competitions. The mission of these awards is to recognize and reward the creative spirit and excellence in advertising. So let's get started with our first category.
Exciting episode of...
And now the awards for sales and marketing. And now the awards for out-of-home and ambient media. And now the awards for online and interactive media.
Exciting episode of...
And now the awards for film, video, and sound.
SEC football is back when champions of the gridiron and the grill are made. All season long, complete Johnsonville home gating challenges for a chance to be our paid SEC Home Gate Pro, attend an SEC championship game, and be featured on the SEC network. Do you have what it takes to go pro? Johnsonville, the official sausage of the SEC.
Curly said, yeah, I'd love to come back. I'd love to coach again. That'd be great.
His accomplishments basically were unmatched. He won 6 NFL championships in the smallest city in the league.
We know Curly's history, and we know his championships, and we know where he's been, and it seems like it's a wonderful idea and a wonderful change.
There was a groundswell of support for him. A number of fans scheduled a rally at the Riverside Ballroom, hoping that the Packers would rehire him.
Lambeau returns to Green Bay and tells the executive committee he is interested in the team's general manager position.
August 16th is Bratwurstgiving Day, a holiday celebrating the almighty bratwurst. With football in flux, we've decided to make Bratwurstgiving about tailgating food this year. It's chef versus chef, Green Bay versus Chicago. We pit Joe Flam, chef and partner of Sancerre Hospitality in Chicago, against Heath Barbado, executive chef right here in Lambeau Field, Green Bay.
Exciting episode of...
And now the awards for Elements of Advertising.
"100 years ago, two brothers left the family farm, starting with little more than a pickup and some shovels. They were determined, resourceful, and they knew success could never be accomplished alone. A century later, the company has evolved, though our culture remains the same. We push the status quo. We don't do things because that's the way they've always been done.
Exciting episode of...
And now the awards for cross-platform. All winners can pick up their Addy trophies at Edge VR Arcade, located next to Creative Edge Productions in Ashwaubenon, starting Monday, February 22nd. If you are unable to pick up your trophy in Green Bay, please email our team and we will coordinate the best way to get your awards to you. All gold winners will automatically be forwarded on to districts. If you won a silver and would like to have it forwarded for a fee, please let us know by March 5th. Should you wish to order duplicate awards for your team or clients, please keep an eye out for that form. It will be sent to you via email. Now, The American Advertising Federation Fox River does way more than just hold award shows. Jimmy, tell them more about what they can be a part of.
The Fox River Ad Club brings fun, creative people together. It hosts local and national speakers for accessible professional development and continued education, as well as provides a networking space for Northeast Wisconsin advertising and marketing professionals. We strive to bridge the gap between local college students hoping to enter the field with local businesses and agencies looking for talented employees. Join the club.
Oh? Nice. All right. Level 1268. I gotta have time for another one, right? Is that the time? Oh my God, that's the time.
Welcome back to the American Advertising Awards, sponsored by Creative Edge Productions and Insight Creative. We hope you've had a relaxing intermission. And now, back to your host, CJ Guzan.
We've come a long way so far and seen all manner of wonderful and now award-winning projects. Who will be the big winners in the second half? Now that we're rested, collected, and steeped in dignity, the celebration continues with Act Number 2. I'm really excited about this next award. And in order to present it, I'm here with Sam Rowe, who is the Vice President of the Fox River Ad Club, and Tamara McLean, who is the President of the Fox River Ad Club. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for hosting our show.
Absolutely. So we're here to discuss the Jim Rivet Award of Excellence. And in order to give the audience a better idea of exactly what this means, we need to start right at the beginning. Who was Jim Rivet?
Jim Rivet was a dynamic creative in our community. He led several teams at several agencies and impacted our community through his love of generosity, taking on projects without a budget, and just helping wherever he could. He volunteered his time generously in several organizations, and in his memory, we've established this award so that we can pass that generous spirit on to others and award them for being compassionate to their community.
Now, I know you've already touched on this a little bit, but let's go further in depth into what the Jim Rivet Award of Excellence really is.
Yeah, so this award, we don't really take the judges' scores into consideration. We look at all the pieces and find the ones that really have the most impact within the community, show the most creativity, and really get the community members involved.
What do you look for when you're choosing a recipient for this award?
We try to look for pieces that exemplify Jim's spirit and really impact the community and make a change with the design or whatever the medium is for the better.
This last year, was obviously one heck of a roller coaster ride. So what makes this award so important?
Yeah, this year we've had immense difficulty in the small business community in our downtown areas with small businesses, and this social corporate responsibility campaign really tried to bring those businesses together and give them some hope and some awareness so that they're still there, they're still thriving, they're going to make it through this, and we felt that Jim would have really enjoyed the piece.
So obviously we need to honor someone with this award. So who is this year's winner of the Jim Rivet Award of Excellence?
Despite the pandemic, this corporate social responsibility campaign really brought businesses together, community members, and Main Street organizations. It spanned from Appleton, Neenah, Oshkosh, Green Bay, and De Pere, and it encompassed numerous businesses and professionals giving of their volunteer time and donating their materials as far as print and collateral.
The winner of the 2021 Jim Rivet Award of Excellence is the Downtown Faces Forward campaign by O'Connor Connective.
Congratulations to the O'Connor Connective for winning the Jim Rivet Award of Excellence, and thank you very much, Sam and Tamara, for joining me here today.
Great to be here.
Thank you for joining our watch party, and a special thanks to our sponsors, Insight Creative and Creative Edge Productions.
And thank you to everyone who entered the show this year. It was a tough year, but we still got some great work, and we appreciate you, and I hope you enter again next year.
Evilise, it's time to talk about your Judge's Choice Award and who you chose. Why did you choose the Black Lives Matter poster?
Well, when I first saw it, my eyes just said, wow. Between the colors, the joy that just pops out between the shapes, the fierce power that's coming through with the pose. And it also screams, I mean, at first it's very Prince. And when you think about that era, right, the 70s, not only were the 70s groovy, but it was also a time of political crisis, of people-powered movements. You know, we had the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal. I mean, it's so important to relearn and learn history. It does tend to repeat itself. And so when you think about what was happening politically and socially, the innovations that came out of that era, the political and social movements, and the civil rights movement, I think it's a brilliant connection to look back at what we've accomplished and reminding ourselves that even though, you know, it's almost like at this time, people are aware and have the information to realize what's happening when it comes to the system, right? And it's been really beautiful to see on social media everything unfold. And with a poster like this, right, it's shareable, it can easily be a mural, it's an eye-catching poster, and it just speaks to the optimism and hope that, you know, folks that are oppressed are using to really push back and stand up for what we believe in and for our own civil rights and liberties.
Thank you very much, Evilise. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a judge for the American Advertising Federation. We are back with one of our judges, Clark, to talk about his Judge's Choice Award. And Clark, what entry did you choose?
I chose the Notre Dame of De Pere site design. This was one of my favorite pieces in the whole show. Obviously, it was my Judge's Choice Award. I loved the scale of the structures. I loved the optimism and the color, and just to me, this created what you intend to create when you walk into a place like this. It's a little bit breathtaking, and it's inherently beautiful and optimistic, and has these gorgeous layers of meaning and experience, and it feels like a thing that you can stand and stare at for a long time and experience something different every time. I don't know, to me, the combination of where this is and what this is was a really remarkable piece of design work that was particularly beautiful in this location. So I just thought it was a really wonderful piece of work.
Thank you for being a judge, and thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
We're here with Yash discussing the Judge's Choice Award. And what was your selection?
Well, I obviously thought there was a lot of really great work in this competition. And in conversing with the other judges as we got to the end, there's really one piece one campaign that I really felt did a great job of just executing and, on multiple levels. And it was the NMU Day of Giving campaign. I just thought the graphic elements, the visuals, the treatment, the copy, even the videos, everything, every element of this campaign I thought was really tightly choreographed, if you will. It spoke really well to the mission, to clearly what the brief was asking for, or what I imagine the brief was asking for. And I just think in a year like 2020, where everybody had already been asked to give so much, this was a campaign that didn't make making the ask feel so heavy. It still provided some levity, and it did it in a way that was representative of the community. And so for me, it was very clearly the campaign that I wanted to be Judge's Choice.
Thank you so much, Yash, for joining us and sharing your opinion on your Judge's Choice Award. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely, CJ. It's been really great to meet you. I hope one day that we can actually, get together in person and have like a real drink, assuming they don't have you change the desk.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We could have a drink right now, even. You could come right on over. I mean, it's not that far of a drive. Just show up, just burst in through the door, bring the police. I mean, whatever. We'll go out. I'd love to have a good time. And that's...
Actually, I gotta go.
You gotta go? Don't leave. Please don't go. Please don't leave. No, Josh, everything's fine. And now it's time to move on with the show. We have one final award to give out, the 2021 Best of Show Award. This award is given to one entry that stands out among the rest and is selected by all 3 judges as a collective team. We'll now look to our judges to announce their selection for Best of Show. The first group question is, what about the Keep On Wisconsin campaign made it the clear winner for Best of Show?
For me, that campaign was easily the best of show because it did this beautiful job of balancing what is hard, emotional subject matter with infinite optimism, a lot of beauty, a lot of energy, and this ability to customize it to an individual story. I thought there were so many layers of that did such a good job of communicating the nature of what they were trying to communicate. And it did so in this just beautifully energetic, optimistic, heartfelt way while still dealing with a very difficult subject matter. I just thought that was a really impressive campaign top to bottom, and using all of those different elements in really different ways, but allowing that customization to stay in place and sort of let people talk about what it meant to them in really quick, interesting ways was just a beautiful execution. And that's one of those pieces I wish I would have done. I just thought it was a really well done piece.
Absolutely. Yash, what do you think?
Well, I mean, there's obviously the visual elements were really compelling. I thought that given the challenge that was presented, they did a really good job. Clearly, there was a very tight brief, and the creative execution on everything across platforms was just so tight and well thought out and well done. This really rose to the top of the pile quickly for me. Certainly, there's a lot of great work all across the market. But I was impressed with the copy. I was impressed with the art direction. I was impressed with all the digital elements. Across the board, this campaign really spoke to me as something that was not only a great piece of advertising, but something that spoke to the heart of the mission and also the community.
Evilise, what do you think?
Thank you. So I actually spent most of my career designing corporate social responsibility campaigns. And so the specific detail that I found really inspiring and powerful was that this was a collaboration between 13 businesses, school districts, and nonprofits. And I love when industries and sectors come across differences and align their resources to actually make change in the community. And I also thought, too, on top of it being visually appealing, there was mobilization around the hashtag, which was inclusive and inviting, and also super memorable, too. Short and sweet, which is always great when it comes to slogans. And I really thought that the different entry points, family-friendly entry points at that, was really clever and impressive.
Thank you, Clark, Evilise, and Yash for your opinions on that matter. And obviously, it is definitely a Best of Show winner. So we have our next question. What do each of you think is the strongest aspect of this campaign? And this time we're going to start with Evilise.
Thank you. So I think the strongest aspect, as I mentioned, is like the different entry points into the campaign. And so one of the pieces that really warmed my heart was the chalk illustration of the logo. I know that we're all stuck inside and going outside is healthy, of course, being socially distant with your mask, but we all need to find ways to be playful, to come together, to get fresh air. And so seeing that is just a reminder that life is still moving forward.
And now, Yash, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, it was really the design elements. I think the typography was amazing. The choices that they made in regards to the design really set it apart from everything else. And even the way that they chose to execute that design across platforms. I'm an audio guy. I appreciate great design. I'm always amazed by great design, and this really took it to the next level. So I would say, like, for me, easily the design component, and particularly with the graphic treatments that they did with some of the videos, I thought was really, really stellar work.
Clark, what do you think?
I think maybe my favorite element, aside from I love the typography, I love the way they structured the typography. I'm a type nerd at heart, and I guess always will be. But I think maybe my favorite part of the way that campaign was done was this ability to personalize that messaging by filling in those blanks. I loved that you could make that be whatever it was for whoever was holding the sign, or for whoever put it in their yard, or for whoever wrote it on their driveway. I thought that was such a really nice way to let that thing have lots of legs and lots of room to grow and lots of ways to be personally meaningful to different communities and different people. I thought that was a really nice way to extend that beyond just a single message, and I thought it worked to perfection.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your answers. Okay, so I have one more group interview question that I came up with just now, just like the last one. So in your opinion, what importance does this competition hold? Whether it be in the graphic design community, advertising community, what importance does this competition hold to you?
If you compare the American Advertising Awards to other competitions around the country, the thing that I really like most about it is that it is a purely creative competition. So when you look at certain competitions, place a lot of emphasis on execution or on metrics and results. And the American Advertising Awards is all about the idea. So for me as a judge, I will look at a piece of advertising that maybe doesn't have the best execution, but the idea is amazing. I will score that better than something where the idea is just kind of so-so, but the technical execution behind it is clearly advanced or more advanced. So I think that is, from the advertising perspective, it really levels the playing field. And it creates an environment where, as a judge, you can say, really any of these could be best of show. Like any of these, whatever the best idea was, could really rise to the top. And I think it creates a really neat environment, and especially when you look at the winners at the end of judging period. You look at the winners and you go, wow, this is really brands across the board. It's not just what we would call the big boy brands. It's everybody.
I think it's so important to celebrate each other's work. And to, as a fellow creative and creative agency owner, we go above and beyond to deliver great work for our clients. And we're so quick to start on the next project because, of course, we need to keep the cash flow going. But to step back and actually, look at the work you've produced, whether it's for yourself or with a team, and have it reviewed and by other fellow creatives and designers. I think, to get that stamp of approval from somebody who is from our world hits different than, a client who is paying for your services. So I think it's so important for us to not only be open to feedback, but to also, be confident in our work enough to say, this is good enough to win something. So I think it's so important for all creatives, whether you're a student or a veteran, to submit the work that you're really proud of, because it's also inspiring for others to see.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. Clark, go ahead.
Well, I want to be as well-spoken as Evilise one day. So if she's doing classes, I'll sign up for that. I think it is infinitely important to enter and participate in competitions like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, like she said, this work is hard and we put our heart and soul into it. And I try to tell people who are not designers, who are not creative, it's just why do you care about that ad? Why would you die over it? It's because I created it. It's my baby. I think it's important to celebrate those things. And I think it's important to see how your work stacks up to your peers. But then I think it's important for us to all come together and go, God, look at what we are doing. Our work really makes a difference. And I think you lose sight of that when you stand in front of your computer all day. But the work we do, and when you see all these different things and the things that people are doing and how they make a difference to the clients they serve, it's just remarkable. And I think people need to see that. And competitions like this are one of the few ways you get to see, especially locally and regionally, how much of a difference the work creatives are doing matters and makes a difference. So for me, that's what is awesome about this, is that you get to see how impactful the work we do is, and get to see what other people are doing that you wouldn't otherwise. And I think it's remarkably valuable.
Just being able to take a step back and appreciate all of the little bits that come together is just more valuable. It's almost like soul fulfilling, right? It's just this moment in which you can actually be like, I did this. Yay me, right? Like I've come this far. Thank you all very much for joining me and answering my questions. Bye, everybody. Congratulations to all of our award winners, and a huge thank you to everyone who entered. This competition and show have been like none other, just like everything else in 2020. But our community was still able to produce amazing work despite the setbacks. Special thanks to our sponsors, Creative Edge Productions and Insight Creative. And finally, thank you for tuning into the show and for your continued support of AAF Fox River and the American Advertising Federation. I've been your host, CJ Guzan. Stick around after the show to network and keep the party rolling. No. No. No! Come on. Oh, they always make it look so easy!